Welcome to Mapping Success. I'm Dr. Marie Morse. Thanks for coming back and maintaining your commitment, doubling down. I think we're now tripling down on your commitment to you achieving the best version of who you are. If you were with us previously, we've done a lot of self-discovery and we started creating the progress maps to achieving those goals that you're prioritizing to be the best version of who you are. We're now going to start to take a bite out of diet and nutrition as a tool to be able to achieve the best version of who you are. When we're looking at this, it's important to remember that diet and nutrition are critical because that's going to fuel you every single day. And I know that that might be an overused term to describe the fact that food truly is a fuel, but food is medicine and food is critical in terms of our choices. It's important for me to also call out the fact that when we're talking about diet and nutrition, that there's sometimes a need to not only just thinking about the foods that we eat, but whether or not there are any nutritional supplements or potential other individuals we need to engage in order for us to be most successful in implementing, evaluating, and being adherent to the decisions that we really want to prioritize. So when we're looking at this, some may say, well, diet, that just means that you're being vain, that you want to have a certain look to your body. That's totally not true. Having a good personal self-esteem and appreciation of your own physical health is a critical element to you having the confidence necessary for you to achieve whatever it is that your heart is set on. When we're looking at the kind of things around diet and nutrition and understanding that whether you are on a weight loss or a weight gaining journey, that this is a critical component. In addition to that, if you're not on those types of journeys of weight loss or weight gain, recognizing that we still want to take a look at what we're eating to see how it is impacting us on a day-to-day basis. So first and foremost, one of the things that we had done last time was saying, how are we utilizing our time? So we did a purposeful exercise together of creating an understanding of how we utilize our time across the week. We went through all of the hours that were available, how we're utilizing those hours, and making sure that we're taking advantage where we can. Again, an exercise of self-awareness and self-empowerment, of you being able to be in control. Diet is the same way. Very frequently, we're blaming time. We're blaming the access of what's available in the immediate. And sometimes it's a matter of how can we plan differently? How can we be aware of what it is that we're eating and how it's influencing us, or whether or not there's not going to be access to purchasing something? So one of the things I want us to do is let's do an inventory of what we're eating. So I'm going to share with you the fact that one of the things that I needed to do purposely for myself was to actually understand how the food choices that I was having was impacting me on a day-to-day basis. So believe it or not, many people will look at me now and say, well, you're thin and you're fit and you must be able to eat anything. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Many people don't know that I actually have had major weight challenges across most of my life, especially as a child and adolescence. And that gravely influenced what my own self-esteem and self-worth was. And I very purposely share this because I think that vulnerability of understanding that I don't have it as great as it may look can help other people recognize that I'm sharing this with purpose. Looking at food choices and realizing that some people can really have a struggle, or maybe are fortunate and can eat whatever they want, but perhaps their gut isn't loving it. So I had to do a very purposeful inventory for myself from a young age as to when actually was I full? Was I eating out of hunger, or was I eating out of boredom, or because of ADHD needed to just keep my mind occupied? And early on, I supplemented that with chewing gum to kind of keep my mouth occupied so that this way I wasn't just eating out of not having something else to do. As an adult, those had to have purposeful changes because there was a risk of that just being an unhealthy pattern to exist. And if you remember, I had shared that in 2022, I really recognized that I had burnout, and some of the things that was contributing to that burnout was also that I was not necessarily reaching for the most nutritious things, and many times leaving myself feeling bloated and not optimal. Therefore, my work would be compromised. I would push it off till later because let me just lay down. My stomach's not feeling well. So a purposeful part of my day-to-day has been to actually look at the foods and the things that I'm drinking to make sure that they're providing me the adequate diet and nutrition that needed. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to engage in exercise that's very similar to what we did with our time management and start recording every single thing that passes your lips. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous because you can say, well, I ate this and this and this. However, I guarantee you'll be surprised at the fact that there may be days that there's inadequate food that is passing your lip. You're missing out or skimping on meals. Tell you, when I did this exercise, I realized that it was a major contributor to why my migraines would flare. I would be on call and be too busy and not sleeping well. And yes, skipping lots of meals, not drinking enough water, and supplementing with caffeine led to me having very physical consequence. I guarantee you may have that same type of self-discovery when you're looking at what you're eating. The second piece is although I was making purposeful choices of trying to eat healthy, sometimes it came at the expense of me not feeling my best. I would say, okay, I'm going to go down to the cafeteria and I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to put some balsamic vinegar on it. And every time I would feel absolutely terrible after. It was all the right things to have in a salad, but whether it was how the salads were being washed or prepared or otherwise would leave me feeling like I was 4 months pregnant with a gassy belly. That clearly was making me feel not only unattractive, but not wanting to be around other people. And so having the awareness of, although I was making the right choices of the quality of food, wasn't necessarily leaving me with the quality of how I felt. So what was the result that I ended up with? Is by doing these types of inventories, it allowed me to identify the foods that made me feel my best. And I make it a purpose every single day that I go to work, that I go with a lunch bag filled with the foods that I know are going to nourish my day, not steal away my time and my efforts to things I want to accomplish. So when we're looking at foods, it's important to recognize that there's not only the fat, the carbohydrates, the calories, and the proteins that we're looking at, but also how are they contributing to things like our microbiome? So very frequently, we don't consider the microbiome. These are the germs that live all of our body and especially within our GI tract, starting at our mouth and going throughout our stomach and our intestinal system. And I will share with you as a neurologist, when I first learned about the microbiome and people telling me that there's this gut-brain axis and the microbiome influences our neurologic outcomes, I surely was resistant to that thought. Said, absolutely no way are there germs telling my brain what to do. However, you have me here on film or on audio, if you're listening to us, telling you that 100% these germs are telling our brains what to do. And so by making the right food choices, we can provide nourishment. So when looking at food choices, beyond looking at the calories and the carbohydrates and the fat and the protein, understand that some of the foods that we eat can actually nourish or potentially hurt our microbiome. So when looking at foods that are high in fiber, especially complex fiber, this serves as what we call a prebiotic. This is actually food for the microbiome. You are feeding your germs the things that they need in order to be able to survive and thrive. It is also important to recognize when we're eating things like fermented foods, for instance, there actually are live microbiome existing in this. This is your yogurts, your pickles, kimchi. These are all great sources of actual probiotics, helping to replete maybe what is imbalanced. In order to be able to keep an appropriate microbiome in your gut, you want to make sure that you're also having great plant-based foods. So whether it's actual plant basis and it's maybe in the form of a burger or a chicken nugget, or actually plants. So eating things that are growing from the soil. When you're choosing your proteins, making sure you're taking selection of some of those leaner selections. So are you having chicken or maybe perhaps lean red meat? Don't forget to also utilize some of those other nutrients like your nuts and seeds. Those are going to continue to help your microbiome thrive. the thing that you want to make sure you're limiting are going to be those more processed foods. Many times they may have some of the nutrients you need, but most frequently are going to be with a lot of additives that really aren't things that are helping your body overall. In order to facilitate the best way to gain access to these types of foods, think about it when you're going grocery shopping. The grocery store is very specifically set up in a way that can make it really kind of easy to be successful. If you stay in the perimeter of the grocery store, very frequently you are seeing all the things that I've just listed. You're going to have your fresh fruits and vegetables and your milks and dairies and eggs, but you're also going to have where your fresh meats are. You'll have your fresh bakery as well. And so you want to make sure you're doing careful selection over there. But reality is that those are going to be the places you want to spend the majority of your time. When you start going up and down the aisles, you're talking about things that need to be shelf stable. And so therefore, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself that there's going to be items that are going to have lots of additives that to be able to support staying there. Am I going to tell you that you should not shop in those aisles? Absolutely not. I'm a mom of 2 kids. If I didn't shop in those aisles, all chaos would break out in my house. And also, in order for it to be affordable, I would not be able to keep my house stocked with food. It's a matter of making sure you're striking the balance, having the prepackaged foods in organization with the things that are going to be more freshly available. Now, that's just giving you some of the nuts and bolts of these are the basics of the foods and the elements that you want to have. It's important to not fall prey to things that are going to make you think of fads. So you don't want to be able to start something that you can't keep up with. Fad diets many times become a huge attraction because of the fact that people might be losing weight very quickly, or there's someone on Instagram who's became Insta famous by saying, if you follow this certain diet, you'll have these glutes that look just like mine, or you'll have this rippling belly and strong muscles. The reality, again, is they're Insta famous because of the fact that there's someone who is able to sponsor and support because they're getting paid to be able to have that. What we want to do is not necessarily get you Insta famous, although if that's your goal, we certainly do support it. Our goal is to have you as Insta healthy as we can get you. So when we're looking at this, making sure that you're choosing a diet that is aligned with your lifestyle and your affordability and your ability to actually maintain it. When we look at some of these diets, there are many times are things that just are absolutely unaffordable. Just like I said to you, very realistically, no, I'm not expecting you to only shop from the perimeter of the store. That would become unaffordable. Now, with that stated, there are certain diets that may fit your lifestyle. Maybe it is a vegetarian or vegan diet, or it's a keto diet or a modified keto diet. But when you are looking at entering into very specific diets, it's really important for you to speak with your physician or advanced practitioner who might be overseeing some of the care or partnering with you to ensure that you're making the right choices for your specific medical needs. It's important not just to adopt a diet because your cousin or the friend at the soccer field had said that it worked for them. It's important for you to fit it exactly into what you need. Now, with that stated, irrespective of what diet you decide to be able to adhere to, it's important to look at what is the timing, quality, and content of the food that you're having. Why? Because we have already said that all 24 hours of the day matter. And so by having the wrong quality, content, or timing of your food, you are going to disrupt your sleep. And that is going to majorly impair your ability to have the best nutritional utilization. Why? Because of the fact that it's all connected. When we're not sleeping well, we're compromising on our hormones that actually direct our food-seeking behavior. Things like leptin and ghrelin, they're going to cause you to have a dysfunction there, and you're going to have more food-seeking behavior for things that are less nourishing and potentially are higher fat, carbohydrate, and many times they're just giving you that fast fix of feeling good. It also is going to increase your cortisol, making it harder for you to lose weight or have your optimal weight distribution. These are things that become really important. So again, going back to how we're utilizing our time completely ties into how we're eating and the quality, timing, and content of our food. You want to make sure you're giving yourself enough time before bedtime to have your meals so that they're not keeping you up late, you're not having that heartburn or reflux, and that it's not interrupting with your ability to have good nocturnal sleep. In fact, there's even been studies that have demonstrated when you're having some of those hot and spicy meals that not only is it going to be the heartburn that keeps you up, but it may actually increase your likelihood of having things like nightmares that may be other reasons to keep you up. So having a good inspection of your timing, quality, and content of your food is really going to have an impact on your day and night. So what are some other things that might be good, some tips? Well, one, plan your meals. Don't try to have them always ready just when you get home. Planning your meals is going to be giving you a better utilization of your time, but it also may be giving you a better quality of the food selection that you're having. Another tip of when you're going to the grocery store, in addition to trying to stay in the periphery, avoid going while hungry. You are definitely going to be choosing the snacks to fill what your cravings are right there instead of what you may normally do. It also is helpful to go with a shopping list. This is going to keep you on task, and it also is going to be a time saver for you. Rather than mindlessly traveling the store, you're going in mission accomplished and being able to get out there efficiently and maybe more cost effectively. It also allows for you to maybe clip some coupons that may save you some money. The final piece is making sure that when you are planning your meals, think about freezing some for ahead of time. I know that I'm a person who I get bored with eating the same thing every single day. So sometimes I'm going to make a big batch of something, and if I try to eat that all in a week, it's going to either go bad or I'm going to just say, I'm tired of it, and I'm going to start to dislike it. So instead, split it up. Batch some for the week for you to use and freeze the rest. So this way, maybe it's in another week or two or maybe a month, and you can reinvent the wheel by having that. Now, the final piece is recognizing when you can do this alone versus when you need a team. So as you know, you have already joined the team. We're all in this together to experience the best version of who we can be and celebrate our successes together. Make sure you're sharing your recipes with us because we want to know what it is that you're using to be able to thrive. Now, outside of our team right here, we sometimes do need medical assistance. Medical assistance can come in a variety of ways. So first, it's important to recognize that there are dietitians and nutritionists. Nutritionists are individuals who are trained at being able to give education around diet overall and nutrition. However, they don't necessarily have the medical training to be able to be incorporated to what your specific medical needs are. This is where a dietitian can be very helpful. They are trained to be able to help people who are either on a weight loss journey or a weight gaining journey, or perhaps it's nothing to do about weight. It has to do with heart health, or maybe my seizure control, or managing my migraines, looking at where we may have nutritional deficits and may need specific supplements to be able to encourage. They can partner with your physician by requesting specific labs to be ordered to look at and make sure that we're optimizing all of these pieces. When we're looking at diet and nutrition, it's important to know that it impacts all areas of our health. It can improve our ability to cognitively function, our ability to perform competitively, improve our ability to sustain wakefulness, and feel our best versions of ourselves. However, I would be lying if I did not also share the fact that it can improve your sexual health as well. And when looking at physical health and wellness, you do need to make sure you're taking purposeful attention to that. It's going to provide benefit to not only your sex life, your sleep life, but also how good you're feeling during the day. So taking a look at your foods can also be something very purposeful. We recognize that we always make the jokes around oysters and them being aphrodisiacs, enhancing your sexual desires. And so it is important to know that food is medicine and we want to take advantage of it. Other members of the team that you may want to consider incorporating if you are identifying you're struggling on this journey will include potentially weight management experts. These can be endocrinologists who are hormone experts. Sometimes they're weight management experts who are internal medicine or gastroenterology or general pediatricians or family practice. Identifying those who have skill sets in your particular needs, whether it's weight loss or weight gain or just maintaining where you're at, is really very important. This allows for you to, again, go back to that accountability structure, helping to have someone who will allow for you to give guidance as well as recognizing where you may be succeeding or where you may be struggling. It's also important to recognize that there are medications as well as surgeries that sometimes are necessary to help individuals achieve their goals. We recognize that there are medications that can help in both augmenting our appetite as well as curbing our appetite, in surgeries that may also facilitate in both directions as well. These all need to be individualized in order to be able to allow you to personally be able to be most successful. I'd be amiss to say that diet and nutrition are the only elements to allow you to actually feel your best way. We definitely want to make sure we're complementing this with exercise. Everyone should be engaging in exercise. It's not only heart healthy, but it is mind healthy as well, helping with cognitive as well as mood benefits. We're going to make sure that we're digging into that in our next episode, where we're talking about what moves are going to have you feeling the best way that you possibly can in achieving the best version of who you can be.
As you hold on to that dream, there are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass.